In this portion of the video, I'm going to show you how to make this paragraph right here. So we're going to go from 2 columns to 1 column. Open my example back up. Click right after this text. I'm going to go to Page Layout, Page Setup Group, Columns, More Columns, and I'm going to say that I want 1 column from this point forward. Now I'm back to 1 column and I need to get a heading in. If you don't know what your heading is, you can just type a heading and format it for the meantime until you're ready. Alright, next thing I need to do is make this a heading. So I'm going to make it a heading 2. However, I do need it to be larger than the headings above. And the paragraph below was a different color. So I'm going to go to Text Colors and make this a color that stands out. And I'm also going to increase the font size because this paragraph happened to be larger than the paragraphs above it. So let's check and see how close we are. Larger font and a larger title, and I think I need to add a text effect maybe to my title to make it stand out a little bit more. And bold it perhaps, maybe 1 size larger. And you're ready to go on to the next section. You're going to turn this into 2 columns, Page Layout, Columns. We're going to say More Columns, 2 from this point forward. And you can see up here we now have 2 columns. And actually I'm going to do 3 columns like we did in the other one. So that it lines up. And our first column is a smaller column, so we're going to start with that. And this heading should be a heading 2, and it should look just like the top part. So we could add an additional word here and make it stand out just like we did this word up here. I'm going to grab a text effect. And this font needs to be smaller for the paragraph, so I'm just going to select the text and decrease font size until I get it to about the size that it looks like it is in here. Now I am ready to go over to the other column and add that information. To move to the other column, I'm going to go to Page Layout, Breaks, Column Break, and that jumps me up here where I can add my info. Alright, this next heading you'll notice looks just like the heading above. So we're going to try to imitate that. So we head back to our document. So I'm going to select it. I'm actually going to use my Format Painter, click on the Format Painter, and then just take and paint over the heading I want to copy. Maybe make it a size smaller so I can fit it on this row. And then check the font size to make sure it's about right. Needs to be a tad larger and a different color. So I'm going to make it a tad larger using the Increase Font Size button and change the color to a different color. Excellent. And now we're going to have to add this quote here and this shape. Head back to our document. To do a shape is just Insert, Shapes, Circle. To make a perfect circle, you hold down Shift, and that will give you a perfect circle. To change the color, you can go to Shape Fill or choose something here. To get that quote, we're going to go to Insert, Text, and there are different ones that you can choose from. If you don't see what you're looking for, choose the Quick Parts Building Blocks Organizer and scroll through until you get to text boxes and find one that works for you. I'm going to insert my quote. So to add my text box, I just went to Insert, Text Group, Quick Parts, Building Blocks Organizer, inserted the text box. I inserted a quote that had to do with my theme. And in the example, they had 2 of the words bolded, so I went ahead and bolded 2 of the words as well, just by going to the Home tab and clicking on bold. And then I adjusted the font size to make sure that it was appropriate using the Increase Font Size button. The other thing you all need to add is over here on the right. you need to add a small bulleted list. So I'm just going to, and for the last portion over here in the bottom right hand corner, I'll zoom in so that you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to try to recreate this section. It's a bulleted list with a small heading. And just so that I can get it positioned exactly where I'd like, I'm going to go ahead and use a text box, insert text box. I'm going to draw a text box to fit the area that I want to work in. Shape outline, no outline. Shape fill, no fill. Then I'm going to add that small heading and my bulleted list. Step 1, I've got to turn this into a heading. I'm going to choose a heading 3. The sample, it looks a lot smaller and it's a different color. So I'm going to head back to my document, make it smaller, and give it a different color. And I'm going to go ahead and right click on my heading 3 and say update, so that now saves that. And they have colored bullet points that are square, so I'm going to try to imitate that. Alright, so to make the bullet points square, just went to the bullet button, chose square. To make them larger, you click on the bullets themselves, then click the increase font size button to adjust that. And we can even move how close the bullets are to the text over here. So to move those bullets closer, I just selected the text and then I grabbed the first line indent and drug it to the right so that they were closer. Now we're going to go into here, define new bullet, and we're going to choose font. And we're going to choose a different color. And I'll have to move that back again so that they're closer. And maybe move all of my bullets by grabbing the indent to the left so that they line up with the title just like they did in the example. And I need one more little line of text at the bottom. Go ahead and do another text box there. Draw a text box. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the outline and you can see right here that I added a small text box with the title of the article. You can even add a page number. And one of the final steps was to go ahead and get text added to this, and I just used the text box. I already showed you in video 1 how to add the background, so that was page layout, design, page color, fill effects. This is where you would choose your pattern and your colors to go along with it. And then you just need to add those shapes in so you can still see your text by doing insert shapes. And you're going to put in a big white box to change the color. Double click the shape, shape fill white, shape outline white, and then you would want to send it behind the text once you believe you have it positioned properly. So it should only show the outer edges of the page. So I need to move mine over some more. And then I'm going to duplicate it for the second page. At this point, you would right click and send behind text and send to the back to make sure everything that you've got shows up in the front. Then just check your alignment to make sure everything is properly aligned. If you accidentally have any outlines on there, just say no outline to remove those. So format, shape outline, no outline, right click, send to back, send behind text. And just check that everything is positioned properly. I'm going to go to View, Multiple Pages, and zoom out and give it one last look to make sure this is what I want. And it looks like I still need to adjust this title up here. so that it's up and to the right. So a few little more minor adjustments and it'll be set. And here's the finished product. If you want to know how you're going to be graded, you can scroll down and just check that you have each of these items that are pointed out, and that's how you will receive your grade.